So Bruce gave me a list of the accomplishments of the Asia Society that he wanted me to recite to you, but I'm going to be inspired by George Shultz and throw the list aside and just talk about the things I want to talk about. I do want to take a minute, though, and recognize the board members of the Asia Society of Northern California who are here with us tonight. Would you please stand when I call your name? Jack Wadsworth. If you don't want to stand, you don't have to. The Honorable George Shultz. Chong-Moon Lee. Stephen Beal. Steve, where are you? Richard Bloom. Right here. Chris Cooper over there. Susan Weeks right in the center. Rob Cox. Buck G. Naren Gupta. Dick Kramlik. So Orville, Shell, Sydney Kohara, of course, our MC, Barry Taylor, and Jay Shu. Okay, could I have my next slide, please? Oh, there we are. Thank you. Now for what I consider to be a special treat. There's supposed to be a slide of a building. There we are. I don't know if you can see the letters clearly on that building. That's the Asian Art Museum, a jewel here in San Francisco. At least a couple of times of the week, I get in a lift in front of my house in Coal Valley, and I let the lift take me down to the Asian Art Museum. Every time we approach the museum, I look up at that edifice, and I see those words chiseled into the granite. Chong-Moon Lee. And it just fills me with pride because I think that museum is so wonderful. I think it wouldn't be there without the generous support of Chong-Moon Lee. And according to Willie Brown, this is the first time in the history of the U.S. that an Asian's name has been chiseled into the concrete on the facade of a major public edifice. I don't know if that's actually true. But I believe Willie Brown. I want to say a few things about my good friend Chong-Moon Lee, because this guy, like the museum, is a San Francisco treasure. He's an amazing person. In his amazing career, he has been an herbal medicine salesman, a translator for the U.S. Army, a pharmaceutical salesman, a librarian, a golf ball salesman, and the founder of one of the fastest growing companies in the history of Silicon Valley. He is a man of many facets. He's a major risk taker. He's the descendant of a family that ruled Korea for 500 years. He's a true American patriot. He's a romantic. He's a philanthropist. And he is a truly great human being. He's one of the few true international men of mystery that I have ever known. So just a quick review of his life. He was born in 1928. So go do the math. That makes him pretty darn old. When he was a little fellow growing up in Korea, his father had a Chinese herbal medicine business. Later on, his father turned to selling pharmaceuticals, and the young Chong-Moon Lee helped his father in these businesses. 1950, the Korean War, Chong-Moon Lee became a translator for the U.S. Army. Now, this next one is the one that totally shocked me. 1959, Chong-Moon Lee went to Vanderbilt and studied library science. So I gotta say, my whole life, I thought he went to MIT and studied engineering. Library science, it's just amazing. 1960s, he returned to Korea and sold pharmaceuticals and was a translator for the Korean government. 1970, at age 42, in protest of the military dictatorship in Korea, he emigrated to the US at age 42. I think that's pretty brave. In 1982, at age 54, he took all of his life savings and a lot of money he'd borrowed from other people's life savings and risked it all to build a board that would enable an IBM computer to emulate an Apple computer. Out of this effort came Diamond Multimedia, which at one time was ranked as having the highest market share among PC graphics accelerator products, and also had in 1995 the largest IPO in Silicon Valley. The year after the IPO, he formed his venture capital fund, Ambex Venture Partners. Chong-Moon Lee is an investor. He's an entrepreneur. He's a true patriot. He's also a romantic. And here I'd like to tell just a very quick story. He's told in the past about some young man who falls in love with a girl and wants to take her out on a great date, takes her to a restaurant he can't afford, encourages her to buy the most expensive thing on the menu, and then for himself only has a cup of soup. And he did this not out of hardship, but out of true romance. Now, there's a side of Chong-Moon Lee that I think is really worth remembering and emulating. He's a true philanthropist. I'm not sure that the Asian Art Museum would be where it is today without Chong-Moon Lee. And there we have him standing there with his arm around Jay Shu, who might not also be where he is today, were it not for Chong-Moon Lee. Chong-Moon Lee is a great human being. He's a man who can see conflicts and disagreements from both sides. He's a man who employs the following formula: respect, engagement, and understanding. And in a sense, this is the formula that we here at the Asia Society stand for, because our mission is to help Americans understand Asia and to help Asians understand America. And I think that can only be accomplished by following what I'm going to call the Chong-Moon Lee formula. It has to begin with respect. Respect has to be followed by engagement. And engagement will ultimately result in understanding. And for that reason, we want to give to Chong-Moon Lee tonight I think in the future we'll look back on this and say the most important award that we so far have ever given to anybody, and that is the Chairman Emeritus of the Asia Society of Northern California. So Chong-Moon Lee, please come up. Jack, please come up and help me. One last word here before we give the mic to Chong-Moon Lee. Having been an academician in my past, I can translate the word emeritus for you. It means forever.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh boy, I don't know what to say. I thought Ken's profession, being a successful banker. Now I can see him. I don't know where he dug up all this information about me. And I've prepared what to say tonight, but instead, time saving, I'd like to say two things very shortly. One, I came to this country with full scholarship. From the day I left my home, came, get the master's degree, going back, including transportation, hotels, everything being paid. Of course, tuitions, books, dormitories, everything until I get the master's degree. Luckily, Vanderbilt has two systems, one quarterly system, semester system. So I applied quarterly system. You can finish master's degree in 1 year. So I registered, and then Dean of Registration called me, coming into his office, and he said, "You're not getting into this program." stay here 2 years, have a nice beer, movie over the weekend. Hopefully you get the master's degree and you can go back. So I say, sir, I try to save. You know, I came here with the U.S. government, Korean government scholarship. Means Korean government doesn't have a dollar. So American government aid. American government aid is your citizens' tax money. I like to save it. He looked at me. You Korean young people believe that American government aid to Korea is our tax? I believe it is, Professor. If that's correct, please correct me. Yes, it is. I'll give you a chance. 3 months later, if you don't make it, I'll write you, you come to my office. I will tell you, you have to go back to 2-year system, which is semester system. You can imagine how I did for 3 months. After 3 months, I received the letter. I went to his office. Disappointed. Shame on me. I try my best, that's all I can do. So he told me here and there about 10 minutes, and the very last moment he said, however, I can see your change. This time, I'll give you 3 more months. This time, I'll write you, but you don't have to come to my office. You can imagine how I did following 3 months. I didn't receive anything. So I finished bachelor's degree 1 year. And 387th day, I returned to Korea with master's degree. And the U.S. Embassy in Seoul, but 3 months later, ambassador wants to see me. So, did I do something wrong? No, he has a message for you. So I went to Ambassador McNaghy, tall, very handsome. From his office, I stepped in. He came out, he's shaking hands with me. We are very proud of you. I said, Mr. Ambassador, are you proud of me? Are you sure you're talking right guy? Yes. We are very proud of you. Problem we are having here is Korean student finished school, they don't come back. You came back. You saved half the money. You came back with a degree. We need your help. That's how my life started. And then after, as Ken mentioned, I came back. I had no plan to come back to this country. The military government asked me to join, which I didn't like it. Nice I've been working out without collaborating. And the second year, they say, such a day, 3 p.m., you come to Blue House, which means Korea's White House. Accept, receive, appointment letter. That's 3 days later. There was a 9:30 in the morning. 1 o'clock, Northwest flight to Tokyo. So I just grabbed my briefcase. Briefcase. I got on the Northwest airline. I landed Tokyo. I went to American Embassy in Tokyo. I've been working with them also. So they know me, and I asked them to contact the embassy in Seoul, and that's how I left that. So U.S. Embassy in Seoul knew my situation with the government very well. So they contacted Tokyo U.S. Embassy, gave me work passport. So I came to here. So I started my life here again. That is why what I wants to do. Out of my business, I'm 85 to 90% out of my business. I'm 89 now. 89 years old. My life, hopefully, a few years, several years. So, what I like to do rest of my life, and I need your help. We Asians have no idea of a community mentality. China, Korea, all emperors, dictators. No community mentality. Me, my family. Same thing Korea, same thing China. Very similar Japan also. Somehow, we are here in America, community-oriented, community-based. Each community member has to work to make a better community. Asians don't have that. Asians in this country, in our Bay Area, Asian successful, I'm sure you know dozen Asians being successful here. They're not community related. So I like to organize, I like to donate some funds to organize and study how we bring Asian, well-to-do Asian American citizens to participate community, make this great country even better with Asian Americans. This country gave us opportunity. Luckily, we made a little, or we made some. We have to leave this to this community, to this great country after we go. Our children, we have to educate such a wonderful school systems here. Children will make their life. So for me, my children have a tree. Through a lawyer's office, I gave them grandchildren education all this. After I pass away, they will not claim anything. They're all signed. What I have little will all go to the community, to this country. So you Asian Americans, please join me. This is a great thing. We are benefit being in this country. So we have to pay back to this great country. Thank you very much.